In other news, we're following through on the story of an incident between Danville police officer TJ Godbey and a Danville man with dementia. Today, our Kaylee Randall reviewed newly released body cam footage from a traffic stop in 2021 that shows Officer Godbey arresting another elderly dementia patient whose son talked about what happened to his late father. Now, we want to warn you, the graphic images may be disturbing to some viewers.
He wouldn't hurt nobody. He gave you his last $5 bill. He's the type of person open doors up for people when they go to the gas station.
The late 74-year-old William Good, a father, friend, and compassionate man who always looked out for others before himself. He was also diagnosed with both dementia and Alzheimer's.
I've never always seen my dad get really upset about nothing. He always had a smile on his face.
On September 23rd, 2021, Good was driving to work at the Bluegrass Stockyards around 1:30 in the morning when he was pulled over by Officer TJ Godbey, who was with Stanford Police at the time. Officer Godbey was not wearing a body camera, but this footage from Danville officers who came to help with the call shows some of what happened early that morning.
What is your problem, man?
According to a citizen complaint, Good was seen driving recklessly and in the wrong lane. Godbey conducted a traffic stop, but Good refused to stop his vehicle and drove for another 6 miles. Once stopped, Good exited the vehicle on command. When he reached back into his vehicle, Godbey and a deputy with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, who had joined the pursuit, pulled him back.
They asked him for his ID. Well, he went back and get back in the car. His Kia, and that's when all heck broke loose.
With no body cams being worn, what happens next was not recorded. The complaint reads, Good tensed up and resisted officers. Godbey delivered 2 knee strikes to Good's thigh. Godbey and several other officers took him to the ground, and then Godbey delivered 1 cycle from his taser and handcuffed Good. He sustained scrapes, scratches, and abrasions from the asphalt and was evaluated by the Boyle County EMS. So when you heard about what happened during that traffic stop and how they treated him, what was your reaction?
What would it be if your father's 71 years old at the time? He would have been 75, like I said. His birthday would be on February 2nd. He would turn 75. But when you hear a phone call that your dad got beat up by cops, and you see pictures afterwards, and a cop admitted to you, I called him, Stanford Police Department. They connected with Mr. Officer Godbey, and he confirmed that he did use force because he thought my dad was on drink or on drugs.
Bill says his dad was not on drugs or under the influence. A breathalyzer test was conducted. The results were 0.
All right, if you would take a big deep breath and blow out for me.
In part of the body cam footage, you can hear Danville police officers discussing the incident.
All 0. His pupils look pretty normal.
He's got some pretty good injuries.
It makes me angry inside because I can't do nothing for him at the time, and now he's gone. And I got this reliving it like it was yesterday. Hurt me. Because a little man like him should not be a cop anywhere.
LEX 18 spoke with Ephraim Helton, who calls the new body cam footage another rush to judgment with no evidence of alcohol. Helton points out another elderly person with dementia was subjected to excessive force by Godbey and continues to wear his badge.
All cops ain't bad, for number one. But you got probably about 15-20% of cops are bad. Watch out for those. Record. Everybody bring your phones out and start recording. Because 9 chances out of 10, some cops ain't got no body cams.
The investigation was closed on November 8th, 2021. Godbey's use of excessive force was found not unreasonable or excessive. Kaylee Randall, LEX 18 News.
All right. Peace and blessings, ladies and gentlemen. All praises to the Most High. And this story is out of Danville, Kentucky. The son of the older gentleman that you just saw reached out to me. And shout out to Mr. Bill Good for providing the information about this case. What you just saw happened in 2021 that involved that officer TJ Godbey, who arrested, tased, and you can tell by the picture that 71-year-old man was beaten. And as you heard at the end of the video, that the officer's force was found to be justified. Now, the son of the elder Good told me that his father was on the work. He had dementia on the way to work, and he was 71 years old, and he worked in the next town over. And, you know, when the officers got behind him, You know, whether he realized they were behind him or not is irrelevant. When they stopped them, that officer, TJ Godbey, and another officer were the only ones dead. Now, according to the Sun, he was not wearing a body cam. And the only body cam footage that you see is officers from that town, the town over, after whatever happened to Mr. Godbey. To Mr. Good. So the only thing that we have to go on is his word, saying that, yeah, he gave him 2 knee strikes and then a taser. But you guys saw that entire that man's face entire bruised up, his arms bandaged and everything, right? And so even the other deputies on the scene was like, yeah, he got some pretty good injuries. So I wonder why or how can they justify that as being regular use of force. Now, also, they tried to charge his father, if I'm not mistaken. They say they took his father to the jail. And as you heard, they said he thought his father was intoxicated. They took his father to the jail, but the jail refused to admit him, saying, no, he needs medical attention. And so that what happened in October of 2021, when it was ruled that this officer, TJ Godbey, was found to not use force. However, fast forward until October 2024, which is last year. This same officer, this time is caught on tape, which is the video I'm going to show you, is caught on tape doing the same thing to another elderly man with dementia. This man was 66, and this time you can clearly see him striking that man. Now, this is that video. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Good evening. I'm Megan Mannering. Larry has the night off. A Boyle County dementia patient faces several charges, including shoplifting and public intoxication, stemming from an incident at a Walmart from back in October. But his attorney claims his client was confused, and after seeing the surveillance video, he's now calling for the arresting officer to be charged. LEX 18's Kaylee Randall sat down with the man's defense attorney for an exclusive look at the footage in this LEX 18 Investigates, and we want to warn you, some of you may find the video graphic and disturbing.
So here he comes.
And he's in the gray zip-up.
Yes, this is John Hardwick.
On Tuesday, October 15th, 66-year-old John Hardwick and his wife went to Walmart in Danville for a quick shopping trip. But watch what happens about 15 or so minutes after he tried to buy beer, not realizing he didn't have his ID. He followed the cashier to customer service, where police showed up. I sat down with Hardwick's attorney, who explained Hardwick has dementia and was confused by the situation.
And at this point, does he understand what's happening?
Not really. I mean, according to his wife, he sees the beer, and you'll see him retrieve the beer here, and he very politely, nicely.
Ephraim Helton says the video shows while speaking to a Walmart loss prevention employee, Hardwick places the beer in his cart and then places it back on the table several times. Again, Helton explains not understanding what's going on.
There's no effort to leave Walmart. There's no effort to run with this. He's following all of the directions of loss prevention. He's not throwing his arms up in the air. He's not causing a scene.
As you can see, an officer reaches for his handcuffs to try to arrest Hardwick, but that's when things escalate.
He doesn't understand what's going on. Slam his face into the register. Attempt at a chokehold. Throw him to the ground, watch while he's down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
According to a citation, officers were flagged down by Walmart staff for Hardwick being under the influence and trying to steal beer while having the odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from him. The citation also reads, Hardwick grabbed 2 cases of beer and then tried to leave the store.
You've seen this. There's no stealing of beer. He's not under the influence.
The citation also states Officer Godbey attempted to place his hands behind his back. Above refused and tensed up, having to be assisted to the prone position.
That's not being assisted to a prone position. That's being thrown to a concrete floor at 66 years of age. And then he was struck 6 times.
After being arrested, Helton says Danville jail staff refused to admit Hardwick because they claimed he was in a clear delusional state, so he was sent to a local hospital. We reached out for a comment from the Danville Police Department but have not heard back.
Patient has history of dementia and appears to be confused. The same officer that wrote that he was under the influence of alcohol tells the admissions people and the nursing staff that he's confused.
Hardwick faces several charges, including alcohol intoxication, shoplifting, and resisting arrest. For now, Helton is trying to pursue charges against one of the officers, who he believes used excessive force on the 66-year-old.
I think it's appalling that you have a 66-year-old man face down on the ground and you are striking him 6 times. He's defenseless. His hands were behind his back. He's handcuffed. It is totally unnecessary. That is police brutality.
In Boyle County, Kaylee Randall, LEX 18 News.
All right. So you got one officer, 2 elderly men, 166 and 171. And this officer is once again caught on tape this time by Walmart cameras. They didn't have body cam footage, but Walmart cameras caught on tape striking a man, 66-year-old man with his hands behind his back. You already got 2 officers on top of him. The man is not a threat. And he strikes him 6 times. Now, you saw the man, walking back and forth to the counter, clearly confused. And then the police come in there, and instead of talking to him like, sir, are you okay? Do you understand what's going on? Do you know, they said that he went, to try to buy the beer, but the lady asked him for ID. I don't know why in the world would you ask a 66-year-old man for ID, but that's what they did. He said he left it in the car. You see him, he don't probably forgot that they told him that he got to get his ID. So that's why he keep bringing it back and forth. And so the fact that, they grabbed that man like that, came up aggressive. Then, you see one officer put him in the chokehold while the other officer leg sweeps him, that weak tactic, and then they slam his head on the floor. And then you see that weak officer, TJ Godbey. Why all of these officers that assault people, their punches are so weak? Is that an extension of their weakness in mind, body, and spirit? No, but anytime you see police officers strike people unnecessarily, it always is the weakest punch. He must have been the last person picked for basketball or kickball. He has no physical prowess, and he has to exert that over a 66-year-old man. So there you see the lawyer, Ephraim Helton, saying that is clear police brutality. And even both newscasters from both articles says these images are disturbing. And so I would ask you, especially the white people who watch my show, and matter of fact, once again, shout out to Bill Good because he watching. I know a lot of white people watch the show. This is not personal. This is just something that we see, and I'm glad that he sent this to me to show that it is not about race all of the time. Now, sometimes it just is, because black people have been treated. And even Mr. Good said that when he talked to me. He said, I'm sorry y'all have to go through that. But let me tell you what happened to my father. So there you see clearly 2 separate occasions where 2 elderly white men are also being mishandled, beaten, brutalized, unlawfully arrested by police. So all of the white enthusiasts who comment on my post, especially when the police are harming black people, y'all tell me, would you agree that this is police brutality? And if it is, then why are not the other cases police brutality? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. But, shout out to Mr. Good. His father has since passed at 74. So that was, I think it was last year. He was not able to get justice because they justified the officer's actions. Here we have, once again, that 60-year-old man. I don't even think his name was given. But he has obtained an attorney, so hopefully his family would get justice. And the fact that they tried to criminalize both of them, they said that they charged the man with public intoxication, which was 0, criminal trespass, attempted theft, all of those things, because what? to criminalize the person and justify that behavior. Oh, he was committing a crime, so therefore we had to treat him as such. But as he got to once again the police precinct, and I misspoke from the other article, it was this gentleman whom the jail staff refused to admit because he was clearly confused, delusional, probably in a bad mental state. And so they admitted him to a local hospital where he got the treatment he needed. But, just looking at those pictures of Mr. Good, and you can go back and look at them, that you can definitely tell that what those officers said happened is unbelievable. I doubt that happened. So this is just another case. I wanted to share this because once again, y'all know how hard I go against police brutality when it's against Black people. So the same thing applies. So it is not, well, once again, I'm not going to say it is not a race thing because many times it is, but clearly the police are out of control. The police are out of control where they can do this to somebody, and for them to still have that officer on, duty as the son of the late Mr. Good said, he should never be a police officer anywhere. And I agree. And so the fact that they still got him on the force is basically a slap in the face to, once again, good police officers. Like you said, you got about 15 or 20% of police officers that are bad, and the rest are, good. So those are the ones who's supposed to be pointing out and weeding out, the ones that are bad and intervening. But there you see, once again, they never do it. And I don't understand that. Why don't good police stop bad police from doing things that we just saw? Why do they assist them, aid them, and oftentimes lie for them? Like those guys were saying on the tape, man, he got some pretty good injuries. Yeah, so why don't you say, well, nah, that couldn't have happened just by 2 knee strikes and a taser. But, hopefully this video will shed some light and help, that officer be disbanded from the force so he won't be able to have the propensity and the opportunity to harm others. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this situation in Danville, Kentucky, and the larger issue of police brutality at hand. Y'all see the number 919-587-7782. Thank you all for watching the channel, liking the channel, sharing the channel, and subscribing to the channel. Peace and love.